If you grab a drink.
All right.
I'm still
Howdy. Welcome back to MCubed. I am your host, Harris, and Matt is down below. He's grabbing some hydration. And let's hop into it. It's old Cinema Scoop Wednesday, so we're just talking about the film news of the middle of the week. You know, we do the Monday movie news and film news Friday, so that's kind of like the beginning and the end of the week, and we're smack dab in the middle right now. So let's see what the world's telling us. You know, one big thing is it seems like David Zaslav is switching up things and moving things around on the old Warner Brothers side of things, like he tends to do. CNN is part of Warner Brothers Discovery, and it may not be CNN the way we know it for all that much longer. So let's skim through this thing. Okay, I do lose. Can I view tab on StreamYard? Ooh, can I scroll through it on here? Oh, no. Okay. I'm figuring out. I'm going back and forth. All right.
I thought you were asking me. I don't know.
I'm like generally asking and all at once, you know. This is a decent article.
Whenever I don't know the answer, I'll just say yesn't.
Yes.
I say it all the time at work. Like, is this yesn't?
Yes.
Cover all bases.
That's true. I just say yes and kind of look confused for a minute, and that typically works for me.
Oh, I'm not even subscribed to you.
Oh,
I am.
Well, that's a
I was wondering why you never appear in my feed.
Well, welcome to MCubed, and for everybody else joining, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, like, all that good stuff. But howdy, Laura. Well, what's happening? We are about to talk a little Zaslav and CNN. But yeah, I think I will read just the first paragraph or two of this, just so we can kind of wrap our heads around it a little better. But yeah, you ready? In the wake of Chris Licht's sudden departure from CNN, where he served as CEO for just more than a year, like barely, there's been plenty of media attention lavished upon his performance, how he lost the newsroom and the support of his boss, David Zaslav, and how he couldn't quite figure out how to program for an eroding medium. In many years, however, Licht was handed an impossible task. While the spotlight focused on CNN's post-Trump political positioning, its fundamental headache, its business model, and all that, CNN wasn't losing viewers simply because of Licht's missteps. Rather, CNN is a legacy cable news product suffering from secular, industry-wide decline. Pay TV subscriptions dropped to 58.5% as of Q1 of 2021, marking the lowest rate for pay TV since '92. And there's less certainty than ever before about the streaming model that aspires to replace it. So let's skip over a little bit, get to the good stuff. Now it's decision time for news. The future of CNN, as with many cable brands, comes down to three options. It can be rolled into a streaming bundle that generates less revenue for the network. It can be offered as an upsell to a smaller number of subscribers or included in a slightly higher price streaming platform. Or three, be spun off as a niche standalone service. In almost every scenario, it's hard to imagine CNN ever being able to replicate the economics of the cable era, wherein carriage fees helped the business earn well more than $1 billion a year in profit during the Jeff Zucker era. So that's kind of like the gist of that. Well, I'll put it back to just us. Booyah.
So they're essentially just going to move their CNN offerings to a paid subscription model.
Yeah, it's CNN is essentially becoming pay-per-view, where it was like pay-per-view to a degree, just in like the cable sense of like, oh yeah, you're paying for this cable channel. It was always bundled in with things, and now that's one of their options where CNN could be the live news aspect to like if you hop on HBO Max, Max now or whatever, and you just hop on and like you got your options for Looney Tunes, you have your options for Rick and Morty stuff, you have your options for DC properties. CNN very well might just be like the very front one. It would make sense to put it up front, kind of almost YouTube-like in a way, because it would be that like constant live programming, but also it would keep it a little less streaming.
And do you think they'd specialize on specific news channels as well? So you'd have, I don't know this what they currently have, but if I was to compare what we have in the UK, like you have Sky News, and then you've got Sky Sports, and then you've got Sky. I guess Sky Business, maybe BBC is probably better. You have BBC Business, BBC Tech, BBC UK, BBC Worldwide. Do you reckon they'll do that kind of stuff?
It would make sense. I mean, that's still, I guess, cable. It's not like what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like it doesn't need cable to survive in that way, I guess. Where the BBC, I guess, doesn't really need cable to survive because it's such a large network, and it can kind of, if the BBC wanted to do a streaming service, they could tomorrow, and it would still be successful.
Well, they do. They have iPlayer.
Okay, yeah.
Where you can get all of the news and you can get all of every single BBC product because it's paid for by the taxpayer. It's all free. But if it wasn't paid by the taxpayer, which in 2026 we think it might not be, because they're going to abolish the TV license, which is a whole thing I don't want to get into. But that means the BBC is no longer going to be funded by the taxpayer because that literally pays for the BBC. Who knows what happens to their free library of content? But yeah, I went off on a tangent there. But
no. That's that. I mean, we'll be talking about it in 2026, plenty. That's just wild. I would assume it would kind of follow a similar model, but I guess they're also thinking about like, well, BBC's. Why would they continue? I guess your typical cable TV kind of stuff if everything's streaming by then.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's a big part of why the BBC have been striking deals with streaming services. Like a lot of BBC programs are now on other streaming services.
Yeah,
The Crown. I think that's a BBC. I'm pretty sure that's a BBC show. That's on
Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you've got Doctor Who coming up. That's going on Disney Plus. There's loads. I mean, they've got like typically. In the UK, so you've got BBC One, BBC Two. That's your main channels, and then they had BBC Three, which was like the edgy side of BBC, and it was mainly for comedy. And then they scrapped that, put it online, but now it's a channel again. I know a lot of the stuff that was on BBC Three is now on streaming services.
That would make sense. The more like YouTube aspect of things.
Yeah. So if you've ever heard of a show called Bad Education,
yeah.
That started out on BBC Three. I think it was on BBC Three and then it moved to like BBC Two or something like that. Torchwood definitely did from Doctor Who. That started on BBC Three, went over to BBC Two. I think BBC Three was kind of one of their like testing grounds. So they test new shows. If it did really well, they'd move it onto their main two channels.
That makes sense. I could see CNN kind of doing that. I mean, it would have to be on the streaming service, of course, but like I mean, because they have paid programming in the sense of like they have Anthony Bourdain's shows that they always did. I don't know if they're continuing them with different people or not, but just little segments like that. That would make sense for them to have at least those migrate to streaming and to be under the CNN banner. Like if that becomes a banner under like HBO Max or Max, I feel like that's the most natural kind of attunement to that, because they're more programming that ends up on a streaming service down the line anyway than they are like a cable news show. So that allows that cable news show to have a certain slot, and then the other thing can still be streaming on top of it, which technically could double the amount of content that they're able to put out, because and projects, because those are more project oriented, where like content would be the news pundits talking about stuff like this and getting over their daily stuff. I could see that. That.
They could probably be a bit more risky with stuff that they want to try out that they haven't necessarily tried out before as well with streaming. That's definitely a positive of streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if it's going behind a paywall kind of thing, that might give them the flexibility to do that if that's what they're thinking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if cable's dying, which it is, we all see it.
Yep.
It would make sense to find that new thing, and it's not too risky, honestly, to just toss it on an HBO Max or and put it in that bundle. I think my favorite option of those three options in the Puck article is the bundle. I think it makes the most sense just translating from cable to now and looking forward to the future and being able to not necessarily gauge what's going to happen, but play with it, Hopefully.
Sorry, there's a guy in your comments, and I don't know if it's a bot or if it's someone that's actually genuine.
Yeah, I was trying to read it, and I was really
paragraphs
confused.
and paragraphs.
Raja, thank you for being here, but I'm confused. I see Aaron's down here. Do I just press add to stream or?
Yeah.
Beep, beep.
Muted.
And then unmute my mic.
Well, we're doing good, man. I hope you're doing well. How's work? Yay? Nay? A little bit of a middling? Maybe
you should still.
All right, it's quiet now.
I was gonna decipher some sign language. I was ready,
Yeah.
But how's work? You doing good? Everything good?
Yeah, no, work's all right. It's slowed down again, so I'm like, yeah, more talking stuff.
Damn right. But we just talked about a bunch about like CNN kind of becoming pay-per-view and all that kind of aspect of things with the old Zaz and his accent, which this time it might be a good accent in a way, an intriguing way. Well, any thoughts?
I think once people get used to it, they'll be all right. But there's going to be the usual freak out, like news channels are, still a big deal, regardless of the fact that most of them are more opinion channels than news channels now. But people still like to be able to just sit down and flip that shit on. So, moving it to exclusively streaming probably would aggravate some people, but they're probably more, my age and older are the ones that would be aggravated. So, not necessarily myself, I wouldn't care, but I'm just saying, I'm almost 50, so people my age and older are probably going to get at least somewhat annoyed by that. But, anyone in their 30s or younger, that's just going to be a natural progression of stuff to them anyway. So
maybe it's a move to appeal to a younger audience, because I don't think news channels, especially like CNN, Fox, stuff like that, really appeals to the younger audience.
I mean, I grew up watching it just because my parents had it on the background the second I moved out the house. I don't know the last time I turned on a news network.
I only really turn on news networks when something like massive is happening, like an election or something. Yeah. But other than that, I just, bounce around on my phone or my computer and find stuff that I want to find out about.
Yeah, big events like that, because even just a normal big news story, there's half a dozen YouTube videos I watch before I go turn something on. But like an election, then you're watching primaries, watching that, and that makes more sense. But that's almost perfectly translatable to a YouTube streaming kind of version of it. Like that'd be easy to put on.
I feel like most of the networks. I know a lot of them in the UK do it. I don't know about the US, but a lot of them in the UK do already translate to streaming. BBC News and Sky News, for example, in the UK, when there's a big news thing happening, like there was a big news story a few months ago, this woman who disappeared, and it was a massive manhunt trying to find this woman. She just went missing. We didn't know if she was dead, didn't know if she was alive, didn't know what happened. It was a massive manhunt, but they had live coverage on YouTube. So every time you opened up your YouTube page, hey David, every time you opened up YouTube, it would be there, Nicola Bully live updates, and it would just be there. And even yesterday, there was quite a big thing that happened in Nottingham. It's a city near where I'm from. Essentially, this guy killed 3 people, stabbed them to death, and then took a truck and just ran over 2 other people. So there's 3 other people. So there's 6 people. 3 of them are dead. 3 of them in critical condition in hospital.
In Nottingham, right?
In Nottingham, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
I found out about that from YouTube, because I opened YouTube and there it was. Because they're streaming it on terrestrial TV, on cable or whatever. They obviously do radio and all that, but they're also doing it on YouTube at the same time. So I
Which
feel like
makes
a lot of
sense.
them do already do it. So I think people would probably get used to it pretty quick. We certainly did.
Yeah, there's probably a good degree of that like already happening, and for them to translate that to their own service, HBO Max would just honestly be good for possibly the streaming platform. It could take away a little bit, I guess, at first, but I don't see it really hurting their subscriber base like as much as it has the opportunity to help. Because
is it going to be
boost some numbers?
You mentioned it's probably going to be like an offering. Is it going to be bundled with another service? So you have an entertainment pack, for example, and it comes with. Is it going to be like that? Do you think?
But yes, but couldn't they already do that with their content like that they have? Like, couldn't like the Anthony Bourdain like No Reservation type shows they have? I don't watch CNN enough to like have all those little shows that they have going on up here, you know. But I know they probably have half a dozen shows. Could that work if they started doing more original programming alongside their content?
Yeah, I think so. Because are they primarily a news network?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
They'd have their news section. That they might end up doing it pretty similar to how the BBC and the Sky News did it, where they offer the news on streaming platforms and blah 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 blah. But then all of their original content would be on a streaming platform.
Well, here's what I think. I think if they're gonna go internet access only, like just off cable completely, what they should, and I like the idea of what Matt was saying about how whatever network that was has their YouTube page like just dedicated to one specific story. They could even go farther than that. They could literally have individual like just sections, like, you know, they'll have like 5 or 6 studios going on and 5 or 6 teams running at the same time. One team covering, say, politics, one team covering international stuff,
that's how
crime, or what have you.
With BBC, and so I know of The Guardian, The Independent, BBC News, and Sky News. Daily Mail, I think, also has a channel on YouTube, but essentially they'll have at any given time, if there's major news stories going on, they'll have multiple live streams going on. So one covering one topic, one covering another topic, one covering another topic, and then they'll have clips being uploaded as well of like interviews with the general public, a politician, or just, you know, someone who has an opinion, or just a breaking news update or something like that. They'll have little clips being uploaded at the same time. So they have one channel, but multiple streams of viewership for whoever wants to catch up on whichever piece of news they're interested in, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean,
and even not even just for big stories. They could just have specialized channels based on subject, because some people only care about business news. Some people only care about political news. Some people only care about like I don't know, what do they call it when they talk about or celebrity news or what have you, you know. Because CNN already covers all of that. I see tweets about all of that on my feed all the time. So yeah, that would probably be, if they're going to go all streaming, that'd probably be the best thing they could do, is diversify their channels. Yeah. I actually think that would probably increase their viewership, honestly, because more people be happy without having to sift through what they consider a bunch of bullcrap to get to what they want. Now they can just go, here's my political news, or what have you.
We as YouTubers have just like figured out years ago is niche down. Yeah, and have a channel dedicated to the just, you know, something in particular. That if they niche down and have specific topics, I mean, I can't see why they wouldn't do that.
So let me ask this. With that thought process, because I like it. Generally, off the top of my head, that sounds like like a good thing. Obviously, there's the good old saying, unintended consequences of everything, right? So if they niche down like that, does that, like, if they're gonna go like super opinionated per like person streaming, or not like necessarily like the individuals individuals opinions per se, are they gonna have CNN like left, CNN right, CNN centrist, CNN Libertarian, CNN Green.
Probably not, but they would, if they were smart, they would just do like they would have a dedicated opinion channel. Like the rest of them would just be about, here's the facts, here's what's happening, whatnot. And then they should have like their own just one. That's all they need, but one dedicated opinion channel. And then with like a list of, who from what side is going to be on when. That should be all they need, really.
I could see that. Because they could niche down and it'd be dangerous just as much as it is like useful.
Yeah, I can't see them covering all bases in terms of political view, because that's always going to be based upon who gives them money.
Yeah, good point.
I did have the thought though, if they're going down the pay-per-view kind of route, then the viewer is then giving them the money. Are they then going to be more inclined to do articles and opinions that the viewer would be more interested in, rather than what some lobbyist has basically paid? But
yeah,
that being said, they will get more money from lobbyists, I think, because they always will.
Yeah,
I don't think the money they're going to generate from streaming is going to cover enough to sway their political views either way. So whatever they are now, if they're left, if they're right, if they're centrist, whatever they are now, I don't think it's going to change.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Interesting. Okay, yeah, because they're probably not going to be able to get as much money, obviously, but it does put power in the hands of the people to their service. Obviously, it's their own company; they say what they want to, no matter what. But that could be an upside.
They could actually, in theory, make more money from doing this from their political connections, I guess, because if you control the platform, you control who gets to see it. You can target those people with, very specifically target those people with ideas and like sway their opinions, sway the vote. You got way more power than if you're on cable and everyone's watching, kind of thing. So they might actually get more money because they've got a very targeted audience of people who want to watch CNN because they agree with CNN.
Yeah. Huh.
On top of the fact that a lot of the people, at least here in the colonies, already, a lot of people on the right here already don't like CNN much anyway. Especially after the last couple election cycles. So if CNN could find a way to actually get them on board, at least some of them, that would be a major coup. And like I said, I think the niche channels could do that.
Yeah, being able to talk to like individual, like smaller niches will help any company, and CNN has been on the decline for a little while. Just viewership and everything, and the more, well, I guess Fox News is weird because they're not centrist, but I feel like the less centrist a news network tends to be is kind of when that viewership kind of dwindles and kind of they go try to find their niches more so than they are able to find it where they have been getting it. So real quick,
want to lean either way, and if it's more of a centrist viewpoint, they will find where they politically lean and gravitate towards that. Yeah,
they're not.
I'll tell you, Fox lost a lot of viewership when they started the whole election got stolen thing. That's really when their viewership started to tank. Was after the 2020 election.
Yeah, well, I mean, they just got sued for almost $1 billion, like for not telling the truth. It's like none of these places.
Yeah, that Dominion voting.
Yeah, but okay, so with the streaming service thought and the streaming service versus streaming on like a YouTube type of platform, would it be smarter for them to completely scrap the idea of bundling it within their own service like Max would be, or would it be smarter for them to do everything we're talking about and do it on YouTube? Because if they put it on Max, they might have to run the risk of paying residuals, and do they really want to pay residuals to people that are just going at it every day and not like?
I think a hybrid move would be better, where they put things they know people are going to search for. So news on YouTube, because it's accessible. The YouTube algorithm is really smart. It knows who to serve that content to. Beyond that, also, they will then have analytics as to who exactly is watching them.
Yeah,
and can then target adverts for their specific streaming content on their various channels. If they did go down the niche route and have, sorry, I'll move my mic a little bit closer. If they had one channel for this, one channel for that, one channel for this, and then they had a show that catered towards one particular audience, because if they do niche down, they're going to have a wider range of audiences, I think, and they'll be able to see all of that in the data, in the analytics, in YouTube, or TikTok, or Instagram, or all of them, whatever they probably do, like a whole social media campaign. I don't think even the ones in the UK, I don't think they just do YouTube. I think they do it on Facebook, they do it on TikTok, they do it on absolutely everywhere.
Would make
because
sense.
It's more eyes.
Twitter now too.
On their version of the news. Yeah, on Twitter as well. And all of those eyes are just giving them more data as to who's actually watching them, so they know who to advertise.
What part of each country and each part of the world they're in, who, if they're male, female, whatever, and what age group they're in, etc. It's just it makes sense.
If they do have streaming content that isn't necessarily news, they know who to serve that to, because they know what kind of audiences like that content, and they can look at all of their channels across all of their social medias and then go, that one will probably will get a bump in views from that one. If we do it on that one, we'll get a bump in views. We'll miss that one because they probably won't like it, but we'll do this one instead. That one will suit that channel, and then they'll just grow their streaming content, their pay-per-view content that way, potentially. And obviously they'll probably do advertising and all stuff like that as well, but I think that's a really good way of promoting content.
And it makes the most sense, because you can't look at all. I mean, I guess you could, but it's hard to actually gauge numbers from streaming, which is why I guess the residual aspect of the strike is probably the thing that makes the most sense. It's just how do you garner all that information and make it truthful, and who decides if it's truthful? Is it the writer's truth, or is it the studio's truth? Is it Nielsen's numbers truth? And what does that mean? And how is Nielsen even getting those numbers? And et cetera, et cetera. It just brings a lot more questions to the front of our minds. Laura says she hates how news has been so politicized. I can cuss. We're past the first minute. I fucking agree. It's awful. And whatever happened to the news, just being the facts, man. Exactly. That's the only bad thing. The niches are great. I do love, everybody has their own idea and can have a fully realized opinion, a fully realized idea, but you got to search other niches to actually have those fully realized ideas. And that's what people are forgetting to do half the time, is they get caught up in their niche, and that's where you're stuck.
You get caught in an echo chamber.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It's nowadays people only really want their echo chamber. Nuance is lost. It is gone for the most part.
It's terrifying.
And when CNN first started doing those town halls for Trump and whatnot, and you saw how many people were freaking out and calling CNN sellouts and just giving them all kinds of crap. And I was on Twitter no, this is what journalism is supposed to be. They present side one, they present side two, and then give it to you and let you do what you want with it.
Yeah,
that's what journalism is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. It's dying out, sadly. I'm legitimately intrigued to even. I don't know how to guess what journalism is going to look like in 10 years. I'm still sad that old Julian Assange is stuck up in a prison somewhere for actually being the last legit journalist a while back. Is sorry, he's giving you the facts. He's not
Julian
trying
Assange, Edward Snowden, currently in where is he now? Germany or something like that.
Is he still in Russia since all this stuff?
Oh yes, he's in Russia. He's in the embassy in Russia.
Last I knew, Snowden was in Russia.
Yeah, that's the last thing I heard.
Yeah,
might be a little be dangerous for him over there now. Not interesting.
Might be.
But all right.
I mean, what Laura said about the news being so politicized, it happens in the UK as well. I mean, the BBC, I mentioned it's funded by the public, by our taxes and by our contributions, even though they're not legally binding, but everyone has to pay it. TV licenses, they are very, very biased towards the Conservative Party, which is, I guess, I don't know what the equivalent is in the US. The very, very far right, the very like. I don't know what that is.
I'd say Republican, but at the same time,
What Trump was essentially.
But yeah, well, he's not even really a Republican at the end of the day, by definition. That's the thing. Everyone wants to keep. They like their niches too damn much. So whenever they don't fully fit their actual niche, they're just kind of
elections
tossed into it. Because Trump is not a Republican of normal sense. He's not a Democrat of normal sense. He's not any. He's not. He's
Trump was a mega Republican, which are like super far right.
Yeah, but also he did. Yes, but he does very far left things. He has gun laws that have ever been in place from the U.S. ever.
Here's,
I guess, mandating. Back whenever the pandy was going on. Don't want to say those words too much, so we don't get a.
We can say fuck, but we can't say the P word.
Yeah, legit.
No, in the UK, like the BBC is so politically like aligned to the Conservatives because they literally they put so much money into the BBC. Aaron's just died.
Hopefully, like a rack of tires didn't just fall on him. That would be bad. That would be bad.
I remember when Brexit was happening in when was it, like 2015, 2016, something like that?
Yeah, that's Farage, right? That did all that?
Yeah, Nigel Farage, leader of the UK Independence Party, decided that he wanted to fight for it, and then David Cameron, the Prime Minister at the time, decided he was in a coalition government at the time with, I think, the Lib Dems. Might have been Labour. I'm not sure. He was definitely a coalition, but it was either one of them two. Mm. He decided that he wanted to call a general election because that general election would then, he believed, cement the Conservative Party, and he basically called the vote for shall we leave the EU, thinking everyone would say no. Nigel Farage was on this fucking campaign.
We're getting
basically saying we need to leave because of like immigrants and like just anything racist you can think of, he was spewing it.
Aye.
I don't know where I was going with this. I really have no idea where I was going with. Oh yeah, the bias in the entire the BBC still to this day follows that mantra that like people like immigrants from other countries coming over and they're taking our jobs, they're taking our taxes, they're taking our benefits, they're taking all of this stuff, and everything that bad that ever happens in the UK is because of immigrants and because of people who are not British, when that's really not the case. There are people in Britain who just decide they don't want to work. There's people in Britain that are just.
I thought everyone in the world was British with the empire.
Well, yeah, we colonized all of you.
There we go. We're all British to a degree.
I find it hilarious, right? How people in Britain nowadays are like, we don't want people coming over here and like.
And they went this way, that way, that way.
Yeah, we literally took over the entire world. We colonized everyone and took over everyone and like made countries war torn and. Like the Syria, for example, we have a lot of Syrian refugees, and people are like, we don't want them over here. It's like we literally carpet bomb their country. At least we can do is give them a fucking house. But the media, this is the overall point, is perpetuating the idea that these people are the problem, and that's all down to who funds them, which is the UK government.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Well, okay, so we're gonna segue here by continuing to talk about the quote unquote. I'm not calling everybody. We were just talking about bottom feeders or anything like that. But the bottom feeding the plaguey kind of folk. Oh, Walking Dead is back. Did y'all see that the new Walking Dead show is, I guess, aired its first episode this past weekend? I stopped watching.
Oh, it's already aired, has it? I thought it was
No clue.
The Walking Dead: Dead Reckoning.
Okay. I'm still watching The Walking Dead.
Really?
I'm on season 5.
Okay, that's where it gets like iffy, in my opinion. I really liked where it went.
Season
in, like,
5 is boring as fuck.
7. Yeah. Yeah, I think I liked where it went in 7 too. I stopped watching it in the middle, like literally something happens in the mid-season finale or mid-season finale before the mid-season premiere for season 8. And I was just like, I'm done. I'm out. I haven't watched. I watched every single episode from episode 1 until that episode. We used to have Walking Dead watch parties. Like I was a little kid, people would come like after like youth group and stuff, and we'd all be like, "Woo!" and order pizza and watch The Walking Dead. And, you know, grow up, and then it's a bunch of high school people coming in, and at a certain point, we were just like, "This is not what it used to be. We're done." It was bad. Like literally, it was 20, like a group of 20 of us that would go in all the time. Every Sunday, would watch this. It died out on us. But this is the Negan and Maggie spinoff, and it's supposed to be imbuing it with new life. So
Maggie, as in Glenn and Maggie.
I mean, the only season I haven't watched is the final season. I've watched all the rest of it, of the original. I only watched like the first couple seasons of Fear the Walking Dead, and I just lost track.
I watched the first season, and it was good. It just didn't make me want to keep watching. The only thing that would have made me want to keep watching would have been Morgan, but like I can watch. Oh my god, Lenny James is the actor's name, I believe. I could watch him in anything. So I don't need to. I don't feel the need to like watch a specific show specifically for him if the rest of it is boring, you know. But not on in England yet.
Googling him to see who he is. He is
Morgan?
in The Walking Dead. Which character? Who's Morgan?
You remember the very first guy that is in the first episode with Rick?
Oh yeah. Because I've just seen him again in season 4.
Yeah,
because his son's now dead. His wife obviously was a zombie anyway, and he wanted Rick to kill him, and Rick was just like, "Nah, I'm not gonna kill you. You saved my life, man. You saved my life.
Like, I'm gonna save yours somehow." When he popped back in, it gave me a little more hope, I guess. But I just couldn't do what happened in the middle of season 8. You'll get there and you'll be like, "Dude, let me know."
I've stopped watching. So me and my missus, we were watching it every night, and we just haven't watched it for like about a week or 2 because we just had to watch other things. Like we're watching Manifest at the moment because season 5 at the moment is so boring. It just feels like
it's when Governor turns into Brian, right?
No, that's season 4.
Okay,
so he's dead now.
Okay,
he's gone.
5 is the beginning of Alexandria.
So at the beginning of 5. It might be even 6. No, it's definitely 5. At the beginning of 5, they go to Terminus.
Yes. Okay.
There's people who are basically eating people, and I saw that coming like instantly. I saw the barbecue, and I went to my missus. They are eating people, guaranteed. They are eating people. Do not eat that. That is people. And then like 2 episodes later, we found out it's people. So, the preacher that they found in the woods,
Father Gabriel.
Yeah, he's just like went into some escape tunnel and it's just left. That's where we've left it. Don't know where he's going, but I don't trust him. I think there's something up with him.
He's a good character. To come even Jesus, Jesus and Father Gabriel, I think were 2 characters I was really excited for, just because I read the comics. I had like the whole books of comics back in the day for The Walking Dead.
Wait, there's a character called Jesus?
Yeah, and he's got long hair and like he doesn't have like a full beard. I think in the show, if I remember correctly, he does have a beard. He might not have a beard; it just might be the long hair. But yeah, no, he's Jesus.
We were talking about shows getting religious. It's just one of them.
And now The Walking Dead has brought in white Jesus. But yeah, okay. So long story short, Walking Dead is good. It's iffy. Schmook, one of my other co-hosts on MCubed over here, I should have a Revenge of the Sith ticket or skip it coming out a little later today, or maybe tomorrow. Just depends on how the editing goes. So y'all keep your eyes out for that. But Schmook loves The Walking Dead. He's watched the entire thing and was like really excited for season 11. And he says it's kind of gone back and forth, but it definitely picked up. Whether the show picked up or not is not necessarily, of course, what we're talking about. We're not into the show at the level it is right now. But is it too little too late, I guess, for a spinoff series like this? Fear the Walking Dead has ended up being a successful spinoff series, and they have half a dozen little like web series and stuff. But is a Maggie Negan spinoff too late? Because that's Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Lauren Cohen. Two big actors.
No, it's not too late because it's those two.
Okay. Good.
Isn't Fear the Walking Dead like a prequel, but not a prequel? Like it's stuff that happens alongside like stuff that's happened before.
Fear the Walking Dead actually starts right at the beginning of the whatever you want to call it, epidemic.
Breakout,
yeah, the breakout starts right at the beginning of that. Whereas the original Walking Dead starts 2 months into it, a month into it, something like that.
Roughly, yeah. However long so having an IV.
Yeah, but basically Fear the Walking Dead is about 2 or 3 months behind the regular Walking Dead. And now this Negan and Maggie spinoff, which I would say those two characters are like super freaking popular, so that show actually ought to do all right. It'll probably do well enough for a couple 3 seasons anyway.
Okay. I absolutely hated Maggie when I first saw her. I did not like her when they were on the farm. And it was obviously Herschel, Maggie, and then all of like her other siblings who ended up getting killed. Like all of them apart from the blonde one. Can't think of her name.
Her actress is Emmy Kinney, I think.
Yeah. Who, by the way, fucking hell, she plays like a 16-year-old, but she's like 37. How the fuck?
Yeah. She has like Luna Lovegood syndrome. She could be 40 and still look like 23. I wish we all had them genes. That'd be nice.
One of these days, I will piss my wife off and completely shave my face, and you'll see, I have that same problem.
I also have that problem, except with me, because I don't have the hair on top, you can still tell I'm old.
Baseball cap, beanie it, and then beanie and baby face, y'all.
We're
gonna have an episode of y'all with beanies and baby faces.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only thing that gives away my age is all the scalp and all this white right here. If I got rid of all that, I guarantee no one would be looking at me and go, "Hey, you're about 47, aren't you?" Because that's how old I actually am.
You're 47.
2 years older than Jay, right?
No. Yep, I'm 2 years older than Jay, approximately. Yeah.
I knew you were older than Jay. What? Jay's
Steel trap.
Jay's
45. Yeah, I'm 47.
Fucking hell.
I'll be 48 in October.
I'm surrounded by old people.
Matt, you're 31, 32, huh?
I'm 30. I'm usually the oldest at my work. My boss is younger than me. The guy I work with is younger than me. I'm the oldest in the office, and I'm the lowest one in the office at the moment.
I mean, that when I've had to pick up a second job at fast food, that's been the case with me more than once, honestly.
That makes sense.
I'm usually the oldest.
Colin Robinson it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a picture of me with like no facial hair. I'll yeah. Anyway, the point I was making is I absolutely hated Maggie. I didn't like her at all. I thought she was like stuck up. I thought she was a bit prudish.
Until she took Glenn to the pharmacy.
Well, she did, yeah.
Prudishness out the window.
No, even then, because she basically slept with Glenn and then was like, I don't know if I want to be with you. And it's like a like up herself kind of thing. And I just hated her. Like, don't mess with Glenn. Glenn is precious.
Don't mess with my Glenn,
But I absolutely love it now. That whole thing when at the end of season 4, beginning of season 5, when they all got separated because the governor like attacked the prison, and it was her and Glenn trying to find each other, and they left little notes in blood all everywhere, like, Glenn, I'm going to Terminus, come. When they finally met up and they met each other in the tunnel, it was like, oh yes, loved it, absolutely loved it.
Have you gotten to where Negan has been introduced yet, Matt?
I don't recognize the name.
Okay.
Okay, then.
Now-
Okay, see, I needed to know about where you were in terms of things before I started talking about stuff with Harris here. So I'm gonna have to keep my fucking yapper shut.
I wanted to say a couple
Ooh.
things. I don't know if I can say them now.
Ooh, maybe.
Oh,
I don't think so.
You would know if
Leather jacket, red kerchief, barbed wire covered bat named Lucille.
Yes, he has Lucille with him.
All right. So he first appeared in
Let's
the last.
just say the first time you
which
see him,
is-
it's a little mind blowing. You know.
Oh yeah, the first time you actually clap eyes on that character is almost. That's like what 2 or 3 episodes before the end of the season he appears in.
He appears
Right?
in season 6.
Oh, it's at the end of season 5 because he pops.
No,
in
it's season 6. Season 6, episode 16.
6 and then 7. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna want to force yourself through 5 and get into 6 because 6 is fire.
Yes. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is just. He's fantastic. In every role that I've ever seen the guy in, he just kills. And
You want to know what's funny? Is it took me most of season 7 to realize that was the dad from Supernatural. He's so much thinner in The Walking Dead. He was a little bit chunky in Supernatural back in the day.
See, I never watched him in Supernatural, but I remember him in Watchmen was my favorite comic book movie for years and years and years. And of course, he plays the comedian in there, and he's big and buff and burly in that, and then kind of goes down.
Now, Harris, listen to me carefully. I know Supernatural is technically a CW show, but it's not a CW show.
But does it turn into a CW show for its last 6, 7, 8, 10 seasons?
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. It is
You know it's
so
not
good.
a CW show because it lasted more than 6 seasons.
Yeah, 15 seasons.
Touche. And it's got a great.
The only exception to that is The Flash, and that should have ended at season 4. So
Yeah, no argument there.
all of those.
even
So, I guess,
Arrow.
Arrow lasted way too long. I do love Arrow, and Stephen Amell is great, but just
It's when they started introducing magic that I kind of lost me.
See,
I love the real.
both of those shows I could only make 3 seasons. Both of them.
well,
So you didn't wait. So you didn't see season 4 of Arrow with Prometheus.
No.
Prometheus. That is the best season.
All right, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one.
season 1.
Yeah,
of Arrow
season 1 is obviously the best. Season 1 of all of these shows is the
But
best.
I'm with you.
But-
Once Neil McDonough gets in, Arrow does elevate itself a little bit again.
Yeah.
Not a whole bunch, but enough where it's like legit great and enjoyable.
Yeah. It went
And then-
downhill.
But
after that.
yes, but yeah, no. Supernatural is. You can only call it a CW show because that's the network it was on. Like the writing and the producing and everything else is definitely, at least for me, miles above most of the rest of CW stuff, even the DC stuff.
David just said something great. He said he'd love Jensen Ackles to be the new team leader in SG1. Jensen Ackles and anything. I wasn't super familiar with him because I just didn't watch Supernatural.
Jensen
But him
Ackles
and
in The
and
Boys.
everything else is just
Yeah, well, I mean, the boys is only like a 10-episode thing. He'd have time to do both. Damn it, he would have time to do both. By the way, when the hell is season 4 of The Boys coming out? Is that next spring?
It'll be
I think it's this year. It should
maybe
be this year.
It should be this year. Yeah.
Is it this year?
The
It should be
Boys.
this year. Let me have a quick Google search.
5 days ago, Kripke
I just don't want to see a ginormous foam dingling in the season premiere this year.
There's a trailer. There's a trailer.
Oh, is there? Shit. Okay, well, after this, I'm gonna have to go check that out.
Yeah, well, I could pull up the screen and watch it. Oh, well, are they going to shut us down if we do that?
No, it'll be all right.
I don't know how picky. I don't know. I don't think Amazon's quite as picky as like say Disney or
It's
Sony.
commentary. So
We're friends
Oh.
of Amazon. They right?
I think
Sure
it'll
they
be
do.
all right because like literally people on Twitch who is owned by Amazon do this shit all the time. So
Oh, okay. Well, then let's do it.
Well,
I'm gonna-
yeah, but that's. I think the key is that's an Amazon-owned thing, where YouTube is owned by Alphabet. I doubt they copyright strike their own thing on their own already owned platform. You know what I'm saying?
I think the difference is if we were just watching it and not talking about it, then it would be a copyright issue. But when you do it and you talk about it, then it falls under free use or whatever you call it. It's free use because it's
Tell that to the mouse. They are vicious.
Well, yeah, Disney's just
they're bad. I mean,
Yeah, like I can't like I stopped doing Mandalorian breakdowns because I had the same video I tried 3 times and got copyright struck all 3 times.
Really?
The reason they
that's why I'm like the hell with doing summaries.
They know YouTube's copyright system is broken. They know that they can just strike whatever they want, and people as content creators, we won't appeal it because if we appeal it, we run the risk of losing our channels.
Mm-hmm.
But legally, if it's commentary, we can appeal it, and we should, by all rights, be able to get that strike removed. But it doesn't work like that, and they know it. I think that's why they do it.
So I'm seeing I'm the Homelander, the boys, 1.5 minute teaser.
That's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
That's it. Well, let's watch this thing.
Hey, someone share that mess.
Present. Share the screen. Can y'all see it? Oh. Okay, we can see it. Hell yeah.
Oh, let's make
come
it
back
bigger.
here to check.
There you go.
But yeah, see, I'm. It's great having you here because I can't see all this. When I go back and do all
now we just need some audio.
Do it full screen.
Full screen.
There you go.
All right. Okay. I'm the Homelander. I am Homelander. As a superhero, sometimes you have to do things. So why did I do it? I did it because it's the right thing to do. Quite simply, I did it because it's the right thing to do. There you go. Everybody loves you because you're perfect. You're perfect. You are fucking perfect. Firefighters are the real heroes. You guys, firefighters. You guys are the real heroes. Oh God. Teachers are the custodians of our youth. They are the real heroes. You do nothing. You think you can do what I do? Do it. Nobody can do what I do. I'm the Homelander. I'm the Homelander. I am the Homelander. I'm the Homelander. I'm the Homelander. I'm the Homelander. And I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, baby.
I think this is going to be. It has to be. It's the season Homelander finally fucking cracks, and it's going to be insane.
That looks like it's the season he's about to crack. That, I mean, just 1.5 minutes of Homelander.
I was actually expecting in that to see, in season 3 where he was looking in the mirror and he's talking to himself and himself is like calling himself a baby and all shit like that. I was expecting to see that in that, but that will definitely play a part in season 4, I reckon.
Oh yeah, there's got to be some of that in there. It's probably intercut in between all that kind of stuff. Honestly, that's Anthony Starr, man.
I want him somewhere in Marvel, Star Wars, or DC because that dude is epic. Give me that
type of performance makes me want to say Joker, but like just any other role that he could embody and make as good as a character like the Joker, just do it. Because Homelander was not that good of a character. He wasn't a bad character by any means, but he was not like this type of character prior to Anthony Starr. That dude's put his mark on that character, and it's a masterful mark.
See, I've never read the book, so I don't know like how comic accurate Amazon is going on.
Yes. Oh wait! I have a new word for this. Yesin.
Yes.
Figured it out. No, it's like both accurate and not accurate at the same time. It kind of picks and chooses, and it either like really stays alongside it or really doesn't. I haven't read most of the comics for it, but it's one that I really would like to because that and Invincible I really want to get into. Invincible because of Robert Kirkman, who wrote The Walking Dead as well. But The Boys is just great.
I kind of like it when they don't follow the comics in shows like this, because like it kind of ruins it. Because there are people I haven't read the comics. I tend to avoid them until I've watched the show, and then I'll read them to view the comparisons. Because I like seeing the differences. I like it when they're not exactly comic book accurate, because and they add their own twists and their own personality into the characters and stuff. But it sounds like what you just said. What's his name? Anthony Starr, is that his name? Yeah, he's done that with Homelander.
Totally.
But yeah, I absolutely love that character. He is The Boys for me. Like, well, my favorite scene with him
and Carl Urban.
So my favorite scene with him, and this is how I get people to watch The Boys. There's two scenes. The first scene is what got me hooked, and it's at the end of the second episode. They stick the bomb up Translucent's ass, and Huey just literally just blows into shit. And I'm like, I fucking love this show. That's how I got into it.
But it's so good.
If I tell anyone about it, I always talk about the Homelander fucking the Nazi chick. Can't think of her name.
Stormfront.
Stormfront, yeah.
Which Stormfront a dude, and that is very different from the comics. So that I think was a great change, honestly.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, the scene is where he's doing him up against the wall, whilst they've just caught a bad guy, and he arrives and just punches his head into the wall. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that was a good scene. Carl Urban is the man too. I've been a Carl Urban fan for a while as well. He's killing that role.
If
he says my
it
favorite
really
word
made me sad
well,
when Ray Stevenson
constantly.
passed away, because if I could emulate any two actors' careers, it would be Ray Stevenson or Carl Urban. I love that everything they do, they're having a damn blast while doing it, and it's all great. It's all really good character work. It's just, and Carl Urban is just, I mean, whether he's in Lord of the Rings, he's one of the good parts of the new I say side Trek. I don't even watch Star Trek. The new Star Trek, and anything and everything, whether he's Judge Dredd or
he's Bones, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the doctor.
Yeah.
Henry McCoy.
I knew that.
Yeah. You see, I didn't put two and two together. So obviously, I watched the new Star Trek films when they came out. Not having ever watched any Star Trek before, so that was my first taste of Star Trek, and I actually quite enjoyed them. Controversial opinion, maybe, because people don't, but I like them anyway.
I've been a Trekkie a long time, and I enjoyed them. I mean, I look at it this way: Nimoy was in them. That's enough validation for me.
Yeah. Well, my first taste of Nimoy was Fringe.
Such a good show.
I knew he was Spock. Obviously, I knew he was Spock. And I first saw him in Fringe, and I'm like, it's fucking Spock in the Twin Towers.
He was so good in that show.
No, when Star Trek came, when The Boys come out, and obviously it was Carl Urban, I didn't put two and two together that he was in Star Trek. And I started I always look up actors if I really like the characters, which is why, so I looked up Carl Urban, and then I was like, he's in Star Trek. I'm like, who the hell did he play in Star Trek? But he looks exactly like himself, and I just didn't like. Oh yeah.
He almost looks too Carl Urban in Star Trek. Where it's
it's the accent, because he's Australian, isn't he?
Yes.
But he's very British in The Boys.
Very, very
British.
It's great.
You fucking cunt.
It's so good. Yeah, I mean, you remember which character he was in Lord of the Rings, right? That's always my favorite role of his, forever and ever.
I don't remember the character name, but he was one of the Rohirrim, right?
Yep, second. He was in charge of the Rohirrim, really, but because they all left. They were like, our king is not our king anymore.
Yeah.
I'm in charge now. He played Éomer, I believe was the character's name, who ends up, of course, marrying Éowyn. Beautiful.
That sounds, Éomer. Yeah, that sounds about right. I need to rewatch those. It's been a minute.
Woohoo. Ooh, I've got the.
I actually watched
full
Lord of the
versions.
Rings, the first two films back to back about 3-4 weeks ago, because I haven't seen them for well over a decade. I still got to watch the last one. What the hell is the last one called?
Return of the King.
Return of the King.
Yeah, so I watched Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers. Still got because they're long films, aren't they? They're pretty. I
Well,
don't have
they're-
the extended
they're long.
editions either.
You don't?
I-
I was about to say, I'll give you my Voodoo login and you can go hop on. I got all three any day of the week.
No, I've had the box with the 3 films sitting on this shelf, still in its cellophane, for the past like 3 years, because when my dad died, I got a load of like DVDs, which is why I went on this kick of like watching like all these films. I started watching Alien and all that because it was from his collection, and I just never brought myself to watching them. Like I put them on display as if like I'll watch them one day.
Yeah.
I watched Alien, absolutely loved it. So I thought, what else can I watch? Saw that still in its cellophane. I'm like, I need to crack this out. I've not watched this for well over a decade. It's probably been like 15 years since I've watched it. And like, because whenever we do Sidetrack, whenever Stormy goes on about Lord of the Rings, I'm just sat there and I'm like, I have seen it, but I have no idea what the fuck you're on about.
See, I watch it once a year. I watch all 3 of them once a year. Not the Hobbits, but I watch all Lord of the Rings at least once a year. I love them.
I've got The Hobbit as well, the first film.
They're all right.
I'll probably download or buy.
I'll give you Voodoo. I got those extended editions too. Voodoo's the best. It's made me have a digital library just as big as a physical one. And honestly, that's going to be the thing that lasts at the end of the day.
This is my favorite one so far. I loved the first Alien film. I loved it. I can't wait to watch it.
Wait, what is that one?
That's Alien and
That's AVP, isn't it?
And Predator collection. It's got Alien 1, 2, and 3, and Alien Resurrection, and then Predator 1 and 2, and AVP.
Ooh.
But I also have the AVP box there.
You need a few of these, and then just marathon that.
But my latest to my collection, right, which I'm so proud that I actually found, because you can never find these anywhere.
Ooh.
Guess how much?
$42 each.
£1 each.
Yes.
I used to have those. I might still have them somewhere.
They were in a bargain bin. I saw them. I went, fuck yeah, I've got £2. I'm buying them.
Yes, please.
What were we talking about? We went off on a complete
tangent. Well, we kind of went on a couple of different things. We started talking about Walking Dead and went to a little bit of sci-fi Lord of the Rings. Carl Urban does that to us, But y'all want to stick.
We can go back to Walking Dead if you want. I'm happy to talk about Walking Dead again.
Well, we can keep moving too. We have a couple more topics. Not big ones. Kind of like the Walking Dead, where we can just kind of kick them off, and just discuss. I might not even need to bring up articles for half of these, but that last one was a Collider article for The Walking Dead. I didn't even bring it up. It was good. But Hollywood Reporter here is talking about how Avatar has now set a 2031, or Avatar 5, has set a 2031 release date, which is the earliest Disney has ever booked something in advance. So they're planning things out.
Wait, Avatar 5?
Yeah, Avatar 5. So they pushed Avatar 3 back to 2024 or 2025. 2025, because it was supposed to be 2024, 25, and then correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, it's 27, 29, 31, right?
Am I right in thinking they're filming?
Well, it's
for 3, 4, 5, so it's 25.
I think it's
28, 31.
28, 31, yes.
Okay.
Am I right?
Something like that, yeah.
Filming third and fourth at the same time, and then releasing. Oh, was that second and third?
Well, I don't think they're releasing any at the same time.
I think that was second and third.
No, not releasing.
No, he filming.
Oh, filming.
I think it was the second and the third one they did.
Because they're supposedly they've already filmed 90% of the third one, or that's what they said when they released Avatar 2. So they could be completely done with it, and they said they'd already filmed parts of the fourth one. So they're probably as far ahead as possible, just so they have time to make it look like a realistic
That
video
must
game
be a
world.
record for like longest development of a film or something.
Oh yeah. Oh, it has to be.
Like there are games that obviously they're stuck in what they call development hell, which have obviously beaten that record. But I don't know of any movie that's been in development that long, or at least
there's development hell
from when it's filmed to when it's released. I mean,
yeah. There's development hell that films might get stuck in for 15, 20 years, but there's not been one like legitimately in production for that long. Like the only ones that like legit, the only other thing I can think of that might be close would have been like Phantom Menace, and that was probably 3 or 4 years of playing around first, where he literally waited 20 years to do Avatar, and then waited another 13 to like fully realize even the second part. Talk about mind blowing. Bringing old Negan back up real quick.
I'm probably gonna have to watch the first Avatar again because I watched it. I think I've said this on Sidetrack before. I watched it and I didn't really like it. I thought it was boring.
It's not a story that like none of us have heard before. I guess you have to kind of like it's one of those ones where you want to like put yourself there, and whenever you put yourself there, it like really changes, and you're like, okay, because it feels so much more realized than a lot of other things are, just in the way it looks. Yes, from the way it's written, because it's familiar, so it's easy for us to kind of hop back onto and into. But also that's easy to take out just as much, which I think is probably Avatar's biggest fault, is that it's as quote unquote generic as it is. Where it's easy to hop on, it's easy to hop off. If that makes it's like a train station, which the Avatar 2 begins with the whole train stuff, so that makes sense. Well,
now
like Extreme Marvel,
and now you say that they're going up to 5. I'll probably watch it again. Then I'll try and watch the second one, see if I actually get into it. If I like the second one, then I'll watch the third and fourth. If not, then I'll just leave them. But
what's the largest city around you?
I live in Derby. That's fairly big, and then you've got Nottingham. That's probably the big major city.
Would Nottingham maybe have like a 40x at all? I don't know if that's its way to the UK or Europe. I would think it'd be UK first, but
you got. Oh, I don't know. I've not been to the cinema for years. You've got. We have one in Derby. We did a few years ago anyway, and it was like immersive screens, like the seats moved, you get splashed with water and all shit like that.
That's the best.
Like
if you have
I fairly certain we have one of them.
Okay.
If not, there'll be one in the city around me anyway.
All right. We'll go if next time Avatar re-releases and Avatar 2 re-releases, go to it, because those are like quickly becoming my favorite ways to see movies. It is jarring, especially when you're watching, like I think I told you I saw Creed 3 and John Wick 4 in those, and you're just getting punched in the back and thrown off buildings with John Wick the entire time, which is fun. But Spider-Verse and Transformers I just saw in 40X, and both of those were fucking great, because you're swinging along with Spider-Man, which also can be a little jarring, or you're rolling around like an Autobot getting thrown around, or you're driving like a car with an Autobot, which is great. That's really fun. But I think the 4 best movies I've ever seen on it, which those 2 they're up there. But Top Gun Maverick was amazing, because you're hopping on the airplane carriers and hopping off the airplane carriers with them. Avatar 1 and 2, and then I don't know if y'all saw Nope, Jordan Peele's newest film, and that was only great because there's a flying alien around, and you get to be with the flying alien all the time, and that's a really good thing. But it's my favorite way to see a movie now. And if you have the chance to see Avatar, you're flying around with the Banshees, or you're going underwater with them, it's too cool. It's too cool.
Oh, Laura said lightning just struck about 200 yards from her. Wow.
Hey!
Where are you in the world?
I believe Laura is. I think she was East Coast. I think she was
Oh, okay.
Massachusetts, if I remember right.
I was going to say, we had a lot of storms here.
The south and the northeast are supposed to kind of start getting wrecked with some severe weather.
Well, I mean, UK is getting it first. It's like it's not normal heat up there right now. That's insane. Texas is about to get it
around about this time. So we don't normally get this level of heat until July, August time.
Aye.
That's when our summer really does begin, and that's usually when I go away. But we've had pretty insane heat. This like for Britain, it's like nearly at 30 degrees, which in Fahrenheit, I don't know what that is in
All
Fahrenheit.
right, damn it. Now I
It's
got
like
to
roughly 100.
I got to Google the conversion.
Hang on, it's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what we hit. So it's 27 degrees 2 days ago. Today it was a little bit cooler. It was about 23. But 27 equates to 80.
Okay.
80
Because it's 18 over here in California right now.
It's what?
18 degrees.
Okay.
Celsius wise.
Yeah, so
Oh, okay.
Google says 30 Celsius is like 86 Fahrenheit. That's pretty. That's kind of toasty.
Yeah, and it's different in the UK than it is elsewhere because obviously in America, in Spain, in countries that always have heat, they're very used to it because they have aircon everywhere.
Yeah.
We don't. We do not have aircon. We don't need it because it's hot for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's cold and rainy or just a regular spring day.
That's when you crack a window, crack a beer, and find a kiddie pool to lay in.
Yeah. So when someone in the UK says it's hot and we've got a heat wave, we're suffering because we don't invest in aircon because it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could invest in large fans.
Yeah.
I have a large fan. Yeah.
A couple oscillating ones.
I had that fan on the other day when we did the. When did we do Sidetrack? Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday. When we were doing it was pretty hot then. Literally, my computer had been on for about 2 hours before that. I'd been downstairs, and this room is a heat trap. So I'd come up here to do this live, sat here sweating, and that's why I had to leave about 15 minutes into it. I went, I've got to leave. I've got to put a fan on. I was melting. And you can see it in my face. I've watched it back. My face is going all red, and it's horrible. I love the heat. Don't get me wrong, but when you're inside and it's hot, it's not nice.
Yeah, you don't really know what to do with yourself. It's just kind of like declothe at that point. It's like the only option, honestly.
Yeah, I honestly almost sat there in nothing below the waist. But I thought if I have to get up quickly, that's not going to look good.
Yeah, that gets dangerous too fast. Laura is Massachusetts. Okay, I was right. I thought I remembered that. Because we talked. I went to Boston for the first time last month, and we talked about that the other day. But no, yeah, Second Street's right. We're lucking out. We're getting cold weather over here in California, which is not your typical, but I'll take it.
Define the California version of cold, please.
Oh, well, that's the different thing. My definition changes depending on the state I'm in. Because if I'm in Texas and like where I'm from, the swamp, it's like it's so humid where it doesn't really get that cold until it gets cold because the air freaking freezes over. And then it's like, all right, we're in legit like freezing weather where it's such a dry heat and dry cold out here where 55, 60 degrees with wind is cold in California where it takes 35, 40 and anywhere else, I guess, to really be cold.
Yeah.
But if it's not in the hundreds out here, it tends to be fairly cool. It's funny.
The worst heat we've had in recent years was last year. We had 40-degree heat, which is 104 Fahrenheit. That was horrible.
I didn't know England could, I didn't know the UK could get that hot.
Did we? They were sending kids home from school. It was so hot. Literally, I was working at in retail at that point. I was working in a supermarket, and supermarkets all over the country were chucking out food because the big refrigeration units you have out back, they're not used to it. So they were failing. So all the fridges in the store were failing, and everything had to be chucked. There was so much stuff being chucked out.
That would have been a couple really good days of eating. It's just you don't want to eat that much while it's that hot either. Stuff in your face doesn't get fun unless it's cold.
The heat for me is good in a way because it means I drink more water, which means I lose weight a bit quicker.
Yeah.
I'm doing
No
what
water,
you do,
no
Harris.
better.
I'm intermittent fasting. What you do, so I need to up my water intake anyway, and this heat is definitely helping me.
Yeah.
I'm down almost a stone so far, which I don't know what that is in pounds.
I literally I heard.
I believe it's like 14 and a half.
It's 14 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, damn. Dropping stones. I like that. That's a fun way to say that.
I watched a funny video about like
just dropped.
the measurement units in the UK, and it's like, how do you measure weight? It was, well, if you're weighing yourself, we weigh it in pounds. If you're weighing sugar, it's kilograms. And if we're how do you measure liquid? Well, if it's a drink from the pub, we measure it in pints. But then if it's milk, we do liters.
Yeah. I just went and looked. I weigh 15.4 stone.
Nice. Yeah, like 17.4 now, something like that.
Mm.
I don't know what that is in pounds.
Well, 15 and 3/4 is what I say, 215. So 14 pounds, you're however many more stone that you were above me. How many did you say again? 17, right? So that's 28 pounds heavier. So you're right around that. Make you right around 245.
Roughly, I have an app actually. It'll tell you.
Ooh, I just Googled it.
It tells me.
Yeah, I'm doing my calculator.
No, I've got an app that tracks my weight, an actual app.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I've got these scales I stand on, and it just tells me. 17.4 is okay. It's not telling me.
I think I'm at 11 and a half stones.
I think it is about 240.
What?
About 240, 242. I think that's where I was hovering around. Because it tells me on the scales in pounds and then converts it on here to stone because I understand stone.
Yeah, 240 is 17.14 stone.
Yeah, so I'm about 240. I don't know.
240 is close enough. We'll round down. We'll round down for you.
When I weighed this morning, I was 17.4. You can't even see that, but there you go, 17.4 right there.
And taking the water weight out, it was just 17. You know.
Okay, so that puts you at 243.6.
When I first weighed, I was 17 stone, 13 pounds. So basically 18 stone. So I'm nearly a stone down. 4 pounds to go.
All right. So yeah, you're down like 10 pounds. That's dope.
Yeah, that's really damn good. Intermittent fast are you just doing an IM right now? Just intermittent fasting?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do a bit of working out. I want to build up my. I want to get a bit beefier. I'm fairly big anyway, but I want it to look good.
You don't want this kind of sag anymore, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
Down with the moobs. Some man boobs, in case you were wondering, people.
I haven't had those in a while. I need to make sure they don't come back. I need to get back in the gym, like you were just saying. I keep going to the sauna, but I don't actually like work out. I just sit in the sauna for half an hour. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm out.
The heaviest I ever was probably like 19, 20 stone.
Aye.
That was a few years ago. And then I went on this massive like weight loss thing, started documenting it on TikTok, and then I lost quite a bit. I probably lost like 2 or 3 stone, and I've just slowly piled it on since, like an extra like 2 or 3 stone. But I just want to get down there.
Biggest I've ever been is around 18 and a half stone.
It's easy. It's easy to do, especially when there's Domino's and KFC and just everything right there. And I'm like, I didn't bring any lunch today, but I have money, so. But
I got a couple $. Yeah, no. The biggest I ever got was right before I moved out to LA. I was working at a pizza place, and it was dangerous. It was bad. I think I was what 250-ish, 255-ish.
What? So you're bigger than what I am now?
Oh yeah. Here, I'll pull up.
I was gonna say you brought out a picture once before.
Yeah, it's surprising. I look like old Big Country or something, you know.
Well, they say in
Switch it up a
Texas
little
everything's
bit.
bigger, don't they?
Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas, especially your food portions, and it's delicious. But negatory Ghost Rider, nowadays, that's where we were at.
That is not
Wow.
true. That is a random man off the internet.
No, go on my old Instagrams, as they say.
All of that weight just like left your body and it all went into your hair and just grew luscious locks.
Well, the hair comes after everything. Yeah, I always had a military haircut till last year.
Maybe that's my problem. I'm just so fat that my hair can't grow. I'm gonna lose all the weight and I'm just gonna end up like Harris.
No,
Man,
if
if that actually was true, do you know how fast I'd be losing weight?
Have you ever seen a picture of me with hair? I actually had loads, like probably about the same length as Harris.
No shit.
At
Wow.
one point, I'm gonna try and find.
I had the skater long hair at one point back in the 90s. Just this top part was long and it was shaved underneath.
The little undercut.
Yeah, well, it was shaved all the way up to like, damn it, phone. Okay, this side. Yeah, like almost all the way up to here. Like I had all that shaved and it was just like a top knot.
Oh, nice. Okay. Almost
Yeah.
Peaky Blinders before Peaky Blinders. Just not like swoop back necessarily.
Yeah, it was just long.
Alright, it's badass.
Yeah, like if you took if you just took the top layer of your hair, put it up in like an onion, just the top layer.
Just that.
And then where your hands are and around the back of your head, all shaved.
Oh, dope. Okay. I've thought about that a couple times. I don't know. I'd love to try to do a couple things. I've never had long hair, so might as well play with it.
That was before this shit all started.
All right. Well, hey, we'll take a sidetrack trip after San Diego Comic-Con. No way. What happened to the beautiful locks? Oh, did we just lose Aaron? Aaron disappeared. What happened, Goldilocks?
I don't fucking know.
There's Aaron. Aaron, you missed Goldilocks over here.
Oh, you missed it.
I hit a button and my phone had just went weird, but that's all right because I actually got to start loading trucks now anyway. So it's been fun chatting with y'all.
Yes, it has been fun.
Okay, that I had to see. Nice, very nice, clean shave. All the hairs on top of your head instead of on your chin. That's dope.
The difference between this and that is I couldn't grow a beard back then. Now I can't grow my hair. Like it's either or.
How the turntables.
All right, guys. I'm a dip though because I actually have to do the rest of my job now. It was awesome chatting with you, and see y'all on the next one.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being you. Appreciate it, brother. All right. Well, we do have a couple more topics if you want to just shoot through them real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna pull up all the articles. I'll tell you who wrote them, of course, because the last one, Avatar, was the Hollywood Reporter. We don't really need to read that whole article or nothing. But another Hollywood Reporter article: Secret Invasion had its premiere yesterday. Yesterday. It was Tuesday evening. Because Monday evening I was in Hollywood and I was walking by the Flash premiere trying to get to the Magic Castle, and I couldn't find my way out of the Flash premiere and to the Magic Castle. It was a whole thing. It's a maze when you're over there in those malls. But Secret Invasion, Marvel, premiered last night, and I've seen this is a return to form, but I've seen more so it's middling, which is interesting. I didn't
even know it was coming out.
Oh, it comes out It's like 6 days, 6 days now. It's really soon.
I'm looking at the cast list now. Obviously, Nick Fury's in it. Oh, Martin Freeman's in it. That'd be good.
Oh yeah.
Emilia Clarke, Olivia Colman, a lot of British people.
Yeah, Olivia Colman's in it. I'm not making that noise for Olivia Colman. Olivia Colman can do no wrong. It's I'm iffy on the whole, not even Marvel aspect of things. It's just like you'd want it to do well, but I'm worried that people are saying it's middling. I like that a lot of reviews are saying like, oh great, but right now they don't have all that much stuff going on at Marvel that's great for the public eye per se. And it'd be nice if they could do something good. Oh, I'm trying to save layouts. Nope, just canceling.
It might be good. It might be all right. I'll probably give it a go. It'll be on Disney Plus, won't it?
Oh yeah, no, I'll give it a go for sure. Okay, fine. I'm gonna say that.
So it's based on Secret Invasion, the comic book. Okay, what is that? Oh, so that's got in the comics. It's got Spider-Man, Wolverine. What the fuck?
Oh yeah. No, there's a whole lot of people in the comics there. So okay, this goes. I was hooked for maybe the first 15 minutes of the Ali Salim directed pilot, which aggressively nods in the direction of the third man, complete with conversations about clocks, arched doorways, evocatively lit pursuits through tunnels, and a small child with an ominously bouncing rubber ball. There's a solid foot chase around Moscow, and everything's set in chilly gray urban spaces that don't resemble anywhere specific. And
this guy who was literally been told you need to write a fucking 500-word article, and he's just written anything, hasn't he?
Which is like, okay, cool if you like the first few minutes, but like if it goes down after the fact, like come on. I don't know. I'm iffy on it. I'm excited for it, but I'm worried about it. I'm hopeful. Because if it's a return to that like Winter Soldier, Civil War type of feel, well, it's gonna be good. What if not? Is this could be one of those nails in the coffin for Marvel? I feel like if this TV show doesn't hit it after they've taken such a break with TV shows, what was the last Marvel TV show?
Loki.
Was it Moon Knight? I know they've had
Moon Knight, yeah.
Miss Marvel or Moon Knight, right? I think Miss Marvel was before Moon Knight. I think so.
I didn't watch Miss Marvel. I watched Moon Knight was only last year.
Last like October-ish, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't done anything since. So like, and you remember prior to that, it was like you have 2 weeks or maybe a week between the new. Oh, actually, She-Hulk was the newest. That was the beginning of this year, wasn't it? We've already pushed that out of memory.
Yeah, I've not seen that either.
It's got.
I was gonna say. I guess during this phase of Marvel, preferred the TV shows over the movies.
For how odd and off-putting they are sometimes, I agree, honestly.
But Moon Knight, I loved it. I really did like it. I just don't. It wasn't as good as anything they've done before. Like I think Loki is probably my favorite one they've done. WandaVision was good. I liked that. I have a problem with WandaVision because I just feel like it could just have never have happened and nothing would have changed.
Yeah. Like, and they don't even talk about it really in Multiverse of Madness, which is kind of like they allude to obviously, her children and all this, but like, yeah, they don't get into like the actual plot aspect of anything. There's no like dangling storylines or anything like that. Where I think WandaVision is probably the best, maybe all put together.
Yeah, I'd say as a standalone, if you're not even considering the multiverse or considering the ramifications of the story, essentially, it was fine. It was good. I really enjoyed it. But knowing like what had come before, it literally
I thought it was really good.
It could have just not happened.
Nothing really. Well, okay, maybe it'll be better whenever Agatha Coven of Chaos comes out, because then everything might correlate a little bit more. But it's one of their biggest issues, Marvel in general, is they just toss all these threads out there and then just leave them dangling. Like, obviously, the one people love to point out is there's a giant dude sticking out of the ocean from Eternals, and no one's talked about it. I think we may have gotten like one mention about it. Well, WandaVision should have been one of the most pivotal things, like on every talking about CNN and all these other things earlier. Talk about the news networks, like that should have been on everybody's radar. Not only is there a giant man sticking out of the ocean over here, but there's a giant red bubble in upstate New York over here. Like, what's going on? You know, I don't think they can get away with all these threads. And then they push back. I don't know if you saw, they just pushed back Secret Wars another year. So where it was supposed to be 2025, I believe it's 2026 now. I think it was 25 to 26. And part of that's got to be Kang and Jonathan Majors, but
I think my biggest problem with WandaVision was Doctor Strange, like what come after it, because in WandaVision she goes through all of that, and then she kind of redeems herself and is like, okay, I'm like she stops what she's doing, but then in Doctor Strange, she's the villain again. It's like, but that was over. Why did you carry that on?
Well, you remember the order that everything was supposed to release. I believe the order that we got it was Spider-Man No Way Home, WandaVision, and then Multiverse of Madness. And I think the original plan was Multiverse, Wanda, Spider-Man No Way Home. And
see,
then
that would have probably made sense.
Yeah, because America Chavez was going to be in Spider-Man. They were going to find a way to put her in, probably not for like, she was probably going to be the thing that brought the other two Spider-Men there. And then they found a way to do it all through magic and stuff. But
just use Doctor Strange instead, yeah.
Yeah, which my biggest thing with WandaVision is there's a glaring absence of Doctor Strange. It doesn't make sense for Sword to go in there and try to solve these problems. And when you got old Dr. frickin' Stephen Strange ready to deal with your magical problems on a whim.
You fight magic with magic.
Yeah.
So Doctor Strange
math.
Yeah. Oh, but he should have been the one to resolve it.
100%. Obviously, the whole the lack of Mephisto too is like that's kind of a glaring absence that like we all know it was all rumored, all these different things. Like just give us it. Or I'm glad they're doing what they're doing now, because if they would have pushed back all these series by 3 months, 5 months, whenever they were coming out, like they have for Secret Invasion and all these other things now, we'd be talking about much better shows, much more fully realized shows that didn't have to like scramble to do all that. And they'd have a better legacy, and Marvel might not be in that like, or because Guardians might have been great, but I'm still thinking about the shite of Ant-Man more so than I am how good Guardians was. Honestly, I don't like to say it because I want to focus on the good. I'm a happy, optimistic dude, but thinking about Marvel, Quantumania comes to mind first before Guardians does, again, because James Gunn feels more DC, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah.
So
I still need to watch Ant-Man. I've not watched any of them yet.
Watch it like it's a good B movie, like just a fun sci-fi B movie, and that'll make you enjoy it a lot more.
I think I avoided it because
we talked about it the week it came out, and Jamie and I eviscerated it. We were like, "Oh."
Well, I've avoided Ant-Man up until now because I don't care about the character. Like I've never cared about him.
But Paul Rudd.
I like Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd, well, I mean, he's fine. He's the man that never ages, but
he is Count Dracula.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never got around to. I think I've got it. I swear I have it.
Did you watch the first two Ant-Mans?
No. That's what I mean. I've not watched any of the Ant-Mans. I've just avoided it because I never cared about the character.
The first one, I think, is one of the best MCU movies. It might be like the most underrated MCU movie. And then the second one is great if you like the type of humor that they're going for.
The second one is The Wasp, isn't it?
Ant-Man and the Wasp. And it is really good. It's just like, it doesn't like bring anything like new to the table necessarily. Besides, actually, it does. Avengers Endgame couldn't have happened without Ant-Man and the Wasp, because they're doing all the quantum level of everything. That's how the time travel happens. Yada yada yada. But yeah, no, I hope
that's how Ant-Man wasn't affected by the blip, because he was in the Quantum Realm, wasn't he? Yeah.
And then came back just because of I forgot the rat's name that everyone named it, but the little rat was just walking around. Beep, bring him back. I just really hope Secret Invasion's a return to form. I'm worried about the middling reviews, and it this is the next thing. Deadline is our next article, but it is saying that Daredevil Born Again has been pushed back, and it's pushed back until, I guess, it's in production right now. I believe they might have been filming a little bit, or at least it was like about to. They decided to cut it out until the writer's strike is over. And the same thing with DC's The Penguin series with Colin Farrell, which I did not like the Batman. I love Matt Reeves as a director, and I thought the cast was great. I did not like the Batman. I wanted to walk out of that for every single minute of those 3 hours. I was just like, can I go? Can I go? Can I go?
See, I've been told it's probably one of the people that I talk to have said it's one of the best Batmans.
I've heard that, and I've heard it's one of the worst. I haven't watched it. You know me. I'm so bad at watching films. I had it. I've got it. I got it, and then was like, I'm going to watch that, and then never did. And then a week passed, and another week, and another week, and another week, and then more and more things come out. Oh, I just spend all my time doing shit like this, you know. No, but it's funky. It's like there is a lot of good in it. Like Colin Farrell is maybe like I can't call him my favorite Penguin, but I really like the dude's performance in it. He doesn't have much to do. There's way too many plot lines going on. The whole essence of like the first villain is just the dumbest BS ever. Like there is a riddle that goes on which turns like the Riddler into like another villain later on, and he's the one that you kind of end up focusing on for a good chunk of the film. But it just,
I think I got disillusioned with DC films, and just kind of, I just automatically assume they're going to be crap.
Yeah,
because I think the last one. So I watched Justice League. That was probably the last one I watched.
The Snyder cut?
Not the Schneider cut, the original cut. And it was all right, but I didn't like it. And then before that, it was Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
It was all right, but I didn't like it.
Martha. I'm kidding. It was
so bad. I hate that scene. I hate it.
And people
always say that name. Fuck off.
Oh yeah, I told you about Schmook and Brad, two of the other co-hosts on MCubed. They're very big Snyder people, and I'm just always like, I love, because I do like Zack Snyder as a filmmaker, but I also don't like a lot of his choices as a filmmaker a lot of the time. I like the concepts and the ideas and stuff that he's putting out there, but Batman versus Superman hurts. Like I said earlier, Watchmen is one of my favorite comic book movies ever, and was my favorite comic book movie until maybe like Into the Spider-Verse. You know, like it was like I love Watchmen, and I think Zack Snyder's great, but damn, I did not like Man of Steel. That wasn't the character of Superman, and then Batman versus Superman was just god awful. Like like Schmook and Brad are always like, watch the extended version. It really gets the point across so much better. And it does get the point across so much better, but it doesn't help that the point still sucks. Like it just, that's my biggest issue. It's like, I understand what he's trying to say, but that's not the essence of these characters, and it never was. And I like the dark, gritty, turning them into like the gods and the monsters of everything, but
I think with Batman films especially, we were very, very privileged to have what's his name? Heath Ledger movie.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Like he is those movies, all of the ones with Christian Bale I absolutely loved.
Oh yeah.
Especially Dark Knight. Dark Knight is just perfect.
It's perfect. I'm a Dark Knight Rises apologist. I know a lot of people don't like it as much, but I really enjoy it.
Is that the one with Bane?
Yeah.
I love that film. That was a great film.
I prefer it over Batman Begins, the one with Ra's al Ghul and Liam Neeson as him. I love Batman Begins, but Tom Hardy as Bane just does it for me, you know? He's too good. The whole voice, the whole...
You merely adopted the darkness.
And then Marion Cotillard pops in and just starts wrecking havoc. It's like, oh, well, I could have seen that coming. I just wasn't, like, truly prepared for it at the same time. Obviously, she's an Al Ghul, but hey, it's leveled and layered, and it still feels real, and I like that. Where this one is trying to feel real and leveled and layered, and they're like, we're gonna bring him back to that basic detective, and like he's not a good detective. Like my left ass cheek could have done a better job at being a detective. Like it's so bad. Christopher Judge is in the third Batman film. The third Nolan Batman film.
Is he?
I'm trying to just picture it now. Where? Because he'd be a good hero, villain, or anything. You know, you just put that dude in a cool costume, and he could do anything.
Oh, Dark Knight. Yes, he is.
Oh shit! Does it say which character?
I'm gonna dig and find out.
I could Google it and put it up on the screen.
What the? He's not a major character if he is.
Chris Judge, Dark Knight Rises. Oh,
Mercenary Security number 4. Yeah, that's probably why I don't remember. He's just some random security guy.
Hey, well, at least he's worked with Christopher Nolan. That's cool to have on your resume.
Chris Judge in anything is Chris Judge in any I'd be happy to see him anywhere. Have you seen those clips of him with Richard Dean Anderson before Stargate and like some weird? I think it might have been MacGyver.
Was he MacGyver?
He was in MacGyver, yeah, and he plays like this jock in school. Chris Judge does. And it's so weird. You know the scenes in SG1 where Jack O'Neill and Tilt swap bodies and Tilt talks like a regular American rather than a Jafar. It's like that, and it's so weird to see him talking like that.
Because if he's not Teal'c, he's Kratos half the time. So it's like you're used to you're used to him talking in such specific ways and mannerisms.
Hang on, I found it. I'll send you. I'll do a link in the private chat if you want to put it on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he has hair as well, which is.
I love Chris Judge with hair. It always throws me off. Him at the Video Game Awards was just what? Stop that one. Present. Share screen. There we go. Christopher Judge and MacGyver. Full screen?
Yep.
Let's do this. Let's do this thing. We need to go full scene or?
Yeah, about there.
What's your name?
Darren.
Darren, do you by any chance play football?
Yeah. Why?
Let me guess. Defensive tackle, 6'3", 220.
235.
That's perfect. Darren, I want you to come up here and help me demonstrate how physics affects our everyday lives, especially yours.
Man, I don't need physics. I'm an athlete.
All the more reason you should pay attention. Come on, Darren. It's just you and me on the 5-yard line. It's a goal line stand. Your back's up against the wall. There's no tomorrow. Come on for the school, Darren. Come on down.
I feel like I'm in a fever dream.
All right.
It's such a good clip.
Okay. All right. You are a large mass. I am a much smaller mass, but with a lower center of gravity. Now let's check out this equilibrium principle.
It's your funeral, man.
Maybe so. On 3. Flank left, dog blue. 90. Set. Hut. 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 Come on, don't laugh.
Don't laugh.
Some of the greatest scientific discoveries have been made in exactly the same way, like the lever. Archimedes once said, "Give me a place to stand, and I will move the world."
Archimedes, huh? Sounds like a cool dude, but who does he play for?
I'm telling you, Darren, if you tune into this stuff, there's no telling how far you'll go before and after the Super Bowl.
Remember, class, tomorrow we'll be in the science lab.
Straight to Chula. That's where he'll go.
Really shake you up.
That's all for him.
That's pretty much the clip, yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm in a fever dream.
It's so
What?
weird seeing it, isn't it? Because it's like Richard Dean Anderson is basically playing Amanda Tapping, obviously, because McGrade is like a genius.
Yeah,
So he's like,
which
you'd never imagine being a Stargate fan. Imagine Richard Dean Anderson even talking about science in that way, and then you've just got Teal'c as like a football player.
being like baby Teal'c almost. It's like dumbed down baby Teal'c. Like, I'm trying to pick. You made me think of the. Is this? Yes, it's my favorite clip ever. Oh, hold up! I gotta let the ad go. I'll let it play real quick. Can I put it up? There we go. Hold up. Share screen. I'm getting the hang of it, slowly but surely. And we're there. It's the best thing ever. Oh, I paused it. I turned the volume off. Here we go.
I remember the biggest one that I set up was the very first show I directed, where we were chipping away at the ice. In one of O'Neill's lines is, "I don't know what to do." And she just looks at him and goes,
You spent 7 years on MacGyver and you can't figure this one out? We got belt buckles and shoelaces and a piece of gum. Build a nuclear reactor, for crying out loud. You used to be MacGyver, McGadget, McGimmick. Now you're Mr. McUseless. Dear God. Stuck on a glacier with MacGyver.
Like, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall on that day of the set. Like, it's just too good. It's too good. Oh, I didn't see any more further on, David. I tried to like do a little like mini scroll through, but I didn't see any. If there's other stuff,
There probably is something else in that clip.
It's in the link. We'll watch it. We're hanging.
But that's the main part. Yeah.
That's great. Legit. I keep hitting that thing. Chris, every time you see Chris Judge with hair and a different thing, it's a different version of hair, and it cracks me up because he looks great no matter what. I mean, it's Chris Judge just being Chris Judge, but it's so different every single time. His
voice has changed a lot as well since he's been doing Kratos and God of War. Obviously, that's a really deep voice. I see him at cons and like doing interviews, and he is very Kratos when he talks now, and I think it's just natural for him. It's so weird.
It's almost like Austin Butler, how the dude's like voice is turned into Elvis. Like he can't get out of it. He's just I talk like an Elvis kind of guy. That's not Elvis, but his voice just went deeper and a little more country, and it's like, well, Austin Butler's from like Santa Barbara, but all right, it's welcome to Tennessee. It cracks me up.
It makes me a bit worried if Teal'c was ever going to come back in Stargate. Is he just going to be like? Is he going to sound like Teal'c? Or is he going to sound like Kratos? It might be a good thing though, because he could be the what's his name, Braytak kind of character with like the proper deep voice, and he's like the wise old man kind of thing.
Which would be great, and it makes me so happy that Tony Amendola is still alive and could totally come back. If when we get new Stargate, bring freaking Tony Amendola back. Because did you play Star Wars Jedi Survivor yet?
Not Survivor. No, I played Fallen Order there, and he's in that.
He's in Survivor too.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off, and I love it all at once. It's great. It's great. Eno frickin' Cordova. I didn't realize the first time I played Fallen Order that that's who he was, and he was like my favorite character in the whole game. And then, of course, I started watching Stargate, and I think I played Fallen Order because it took me like 2 years to watch all of Stargate. First year I watched like SG-1 and stuff because I was just slow rolling it. I kind of went back and played Fallen Order, and I just about shat myself. I was like, no way. I was so excited. And the second I saw him in Jedi Survivor, I finished the game in like 5 days because I was enjoying it so much. But I like hopped out of my seat and was just freaking out. It was great. I had too much fun.
I loved it in Fallen Order. Seeing him, you walk into the what even is that place called? With the Jedi, it's like a temple.
Where like his old lab and stuff in there?
No, the first place you have to go. It's been like a year since I played that game. Well, it looks like it's just me. Everyone has left. I don't know what to say now. Harris will be with us back in a minute. Oh, God. I'm going to quickly find out what that place is called in Jedi Fallen Order. It's like a temple kind of thing, and you go into it. And that's where you see the hollow sphere thing. What's it called? It's like a library. I think it's just called the library or something like that. And David, yes, Teal'c Private Eye. I would absolutely love to see that show if they ever made that. My ringtone on my phone was that sound bite of him just rubbing the brim of his cap and going, "Indeed." That was the ringtone on my phone. Since moving over to this phone, I haven't transferred it over. But yeah. What did you think of the Star Wars Outlaws? I've not played Outlaws. I'm currently playing DayZ, so I've not really had much time to play any other games. Let's have a quick look. There is a new game coming out from oh God. Fine, drop my phone. There is a new game coming out. It's not Star Wars or Stargate or anything like that. And it's called. It's from Bethesda. It looks if you've ever played No Man's Sky or anything like that, it looks very similar, but I think it's single player. Starfield Direct is called Starfield Direct. Look at the announcement. It dropped like 2 days ago. It looks so good. It looked like Bethesda don't really do space games. They've never done one, but this is their first one. It's a Bethesda game, but it's in space. Oh, I love it. I love the look of it. And it doesn't look too overwhelming either. A lot of space games that I've played in the past have been very overwhelming, at least with their UI. Like you look at it and you have no idea what to do. But this actually looks pretty intuitive. So it looks like they've put a lot of care into it. Let's have a look at Outlaws. So for Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and more. Okay. Let's have a quick look. So let me present this. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to share that one, and we're going to go here. And it's this one. Let's have a quick look. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen. Share screen. Star Wars Outlaws. There you go. Let's have a quick look.
These are dangerous times. At least that's what I hear. The Empire? They're everywhere. But the world here belongs to the syndicates. If I want to survive, I have to play their game. Looks like I'm all in.
Howdy, kind of. I don't know what's up. I guess I have to.
On second thought,
Oh.
I'm out.
Hey.
I'm keeping the stream warm for you. We're looking at the Star Wars Outlaws gameplay, or the trailer.
There she is.
I've been held back my whole life. And now, I just need a chance to finally be free. Wherever that takes me.
I'm here to offer you a way out.
Oh, booyah.
Get off my ship, Jalen.
Give me a chance. You're gonna have to trust me. It'll be dangerous, risky. But if you pull this off, you'll never look over your shoulder again.
The underworld shows no mercy. But it's a big galaxy out there, and I'm gonna risk it all.
Star Wars Outlaws, coming 2024.
That looks pretty good. It's like pirates.
Wait, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Hang on. No, my mic is on. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Say something. I'm back.
Can you hear me?
You.
I can hear you.
What's when today
You're very laggy if you are talking.
this? Just I understand.
I'm trying to get him to look at his phone.
Yeah. Let's wrap her up. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, I can. Now. Yeah. Let's. Tomorrow, theater Thursday. A little box off and other topics. If you're available, we'll talk a little bit. MGM, brothers, just you. There's stuff, and then Crystal. Talk about and that shit.
All right. Let's end the stream.
From my side, so.
See you later, everyone.
See you, everyone.